Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. We have a very alarming situation to talk about. This is a very serious situation, folks, and I don't think anyone really understands the severity of it except people like David Morgan, who even Mike Maloney wrote letters to Elon Musk. Now, Elon is just a mascot, but when you think about this situation on a much bigger scale, like David Morgan talks about, I mean, we're talking about saving the planet, global warming, and climate change. This is going to happen from solar panels, electric vehicles, zero net emissions by the year 2040. See, Twitter isn't going to be Elon Musk's only problem coming soon if he isn't taking action. This could be much more devastating. And as you'll see in this video, the numbers just don't add up, and numbers don't lie. See, as we progress forwards, I think in a couple of years, big tech will catch on that silver is extremely scarce and it plays an extremely vital role. Right now, they could still sweep the silver shortage under the radar. But as people come out and people keep talking about this situation, I do feel that silver's true price will start to shine in the next 2-3 years. Some say shorter, but for other reasons. Like when I talked to Andy Schectman, he says it could be a lot sooner than 2025, 2026 when I talk about triple-digit silver, and that's because of the monetary side of things. And it's crazy to think that silver has explosive potential beyond just the industrial sector, beyond just the silver shortage, but also the monetary advantages from putting your money into something that holds its value as the dollar collapses. But anyways, yeah, I want to go into this video because this is something that I don't think enough people really understand the severity of. And this is really what, in my opinion, is what's going to drive silver to those triple digit, maybe even quadruple digit figures that some have already talked about. And I had the opportunity to actually interview David Morgan on my channel. As you guys know, I've been covering his stuff for years and years now, probably since around 2017, maybe 2018, when I really started to dig into his research and his articles. And as I interviewed him, I asked him a lot of questions that I've been wondering over the years, and a lot of it is coinciding with what I've been talking about as well, which is the silver shortage, right? A lot of people don't focus on that area when they talk about silver, right? They'll talk about CPI data, they'll talk about X, Y, and Z, the financial side of things, right? But when I'm talking about the macro, right, when I'm talking about the bigger picture of not having enough silver realistically to move green, that is, it's very refreshing to see, people like David Morgan come out and talk about this. And by the way, I did want to announce something exciting, some very, very exciting news. Andy Schectman and I are going to be doing a live stream Q&A on my channel sometime this week, probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday at the latest. I know a lot of you want to ask Andy questions, as he is the CEO of Miles Franklin, and he's one of the top dogs in the industry. He's still one of the only few authorized dealers that can purchase through the U.S. Mint. He introduced me to David Morgan. He's friends with Ted Butler. The other day I covered that huge Ted Butler article exposing the COMEX and all that. Andy saw the video and he was like, "Hey, yeah, Ted's a good friend of mine. You want me to link you guys up?" Like, Andy is the perfect person to ask because he comes from not the consumer side of thing, but he comes from the producer. He's a dealer. He can fill $50 million orders in 2 days with a snap of a finger. So to be able to ask someone like that personal questions one-on-one, as you guys will have the opportunity to do, is awesome in my opinion. We also have a weekly show we do every single week, and I highly recommend you stay tuned, as we usually post on Wednesdays. And this is just my opportunity to let my audience talk to someone of that caliber that can explain some deeper, some deeper insight into all these situations, especially coming from a dealer standpoint. When he talks about the silver shortage and him having a hard time finding silver, that's very, very telling. So, anyways, yeah, let's jump into this. I really liked, and by the way, Dave posted this 2 days ago. How much metal is needed for a green future, and he goes into the numbers. Right, numbers don't lie. I thought this part is right around here is very telling. Talking about the Ivanhoe Mines sees long-term shortage of critical metals. This is the chairman. And even more importantly, David Morgan doesn't just go into the production, he looks at the demand as well, and then moving forwards. A lot of people look at the immediate term perspective of the silver shortage or the supply deficit, right? They'll say, well, production was 850 million ounces this year, and demand was yada yada 1.21 billion. Yeah, that's big this year because India doubled its demand, but next year it's supposed to slow down because of X, Y, and Z. They're not looking much further forwards. What about in 5 years when almost every automobile company is going to be an electric vehicle? What about in 5 years? What will the rate of solar panels be as it increased 15% this year? And then you incorporate production as it's actually getting harder to find silver, right? Demand is going to skyrocket, but production isn't going to skyrocket. It's only going to dwindle as there's less and less silver, as more silver is getting thrown away since it's basically just used for technology, and recycling isn't ramping much or isn't ramping up to much of a degree, right? And even if it did, that wouldn't put a dent in the amount of silver we need. And then incorporating silver as a byproduct, incorporating everyone's buying silver and holding it and not selling it. I mean, if you want to be realistic, we don't have enough silver for the world to go green. So people like Elon Musk, the mascot of this situation, which is a perfect example because he owns Tesla and SpaceX and Solar City. If he's not buying silver right now, if he's not hoarding silver, he's going to be put in a very, very tough situation, as Mike Maloney tells him and does the math actually. Listen to what Mike Maloney, listen to this equation. And just think of this, but on a much larger scale, with not just Elon Musk, not just Tesla, but Apple, but everything. I mean, silver's used in everything. So listen to this. Mike Maloney to Elon Musk, buy physical silver. So Mike Maloney just did a big interview praising his Tesla, and all of a sudden Elon Musk publicly thanked Mike. So Elon probably seen this, even with David Morgan's letter. So Mike sent an open letter to Musk urging him to buy silver bullion, stating, "You said that Tesla plans to sell 20 million EVs by the year 2030. The company produced 430,400 units over the past 4 quarters. So that would be 19,569,600 more vehicles within 9 years. Each EV uses up to 50 grams of silver, which totals 978.4 million grams. So in other words, if you reach your 2030 sales goal, Tesla will need to up to 31 million ounces of silver per year, and that cost at $25 is $786.25 million. But the cost to you at $50 is $1.57 billion, and at $100 is a whopping $3.145 billion. And that's just your automobile business, not including, SpaceX or Solar City. Think about that. And if you incorporate premiums, right? If he doesn't have a direct source, he's already screwed, right? And that's what I think David Morgan's actually talking about. I don't think this was the article, but I remember pulling up another article where David, I'm pretty sure, was mentioning that as well, having a direct source. And I think I even I don't want to say for sure. I'm pretty sure I roughly remember him talking about having a direct source. And I'm pretty sure we talked about that in the interview as well. But I'm going to link these two videos that David Morgan posted, how much metal is needed for a green future, and I'll even post this article from prospectornews.com that talks about David Morgan's enter the silver, or Elon Musk enters the silver equation video. It is very important. Not enough people talk about it. And I'm glad that David Morgan, you also see coming out on Wall Street Silver, and even on Kitco News, right? We're talking about big sources like Kitco News. David Morgan's coming out and talking about the supply deficit moving forwards, and talking about how a single Russian Tomahawk missile uses 500 ounces of silver. A single one, right? A single one. See, gold is mainly used for jewelry and watch, or jewelry and coins and bars, right? Necklaces, earrings. So that gold gets recycled. It gets melted down into more jewelry, which, it turns into coins and melted down into more bars. See, silver, that's not the case. See, silver is mainly thrown away because when you're talking about it being in a laptop or even the medical world like colloidal silver or electric vehicles or whatever the case is it's used for, it gets thrown away in landfills and it's never recycled. So since silver's mainly thrown away, you have to remember, even if production does ramp up even a tiny bit, it's not like it's going to stay in circulation like gold does. Gold gets dug up out of the ground, it's going to stay in circulation for centuries. But silver, not so much. So even if production ramps up, even if demand slows down, the inevitable situation of silver becoming more scarce, and as we're going to need it at a much much higher rate in the next 5 to 10 years, only means one thing. Investing 101, low supply, high demand, shoots the price up. Right now, that won't push the price up because price is manipulated. Spot price is manipulated. I just made an entire video or covering an article from Ted Butler talking about the manipulation side of things. And it's beyond just JP Morgan spoofing on these exchanges. It's much more sinister. But you can manipulate spot price, but you can't manipulate the premiums, the actual price you got to pay. And that's the important thing, because spot price is basically irrelevant. Check this out. Silver's $22.45 right now. If that's spot price, but you have to pay at least $27, $28, maybe even $40 for an ounce. Is spot price relevant at all? No. No. And the reason these premiums are high is because silver's scarce. Look at gold. Gold isn't scarce. Gold isn't scarce at all. And that's why gold's premiums aren't high. See, you can manipulate the spot price, but the price that you have to pay out of pocket is still going to shine through as the more natural one. And that is why people need to remember, as silver becomes more scarce, premiums aren't just going to vanish. Premiums are only going to get worse. So yeah, I really I should have pulled up the other article, because there's some very good articles of him talking about this. Where is it at? I'll have to look around. I know for a fact there's another one that's much more telling. But regardless, these two videos I highly recommend you watch. And if you are someone that does like to watch videos on a daily basis, I highly recommend you subscribe to my channel, since I post daily videos every single day, giving you the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date recent information in the world of precious metals, more specifically silver. We have the live stream Q&A with Andy Sheckman later this week. Stay tuned for that. A lot of big, exciting things planned. I always got something up my sleeve, and as we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, I cannot thank you all enough. Go subscribe to David Morgan's channel as well. Maybe I'll have him on. Maybe I'll bring him back on my channel soon, because the interview that I did with him was so good. One of my favorites, and that's just because David Morgan and I are so like-minded when it comes to, silver, the silver supply deficit and the reality. And I love that, since, that's one of my idols. I mean, he sent me a book. He sent me a copy of his book, and he signed it as well. It's actually sitting. If you've watched my streams with like Andy Sheckman, you'll see in the background on my little shelf the Silver Manifesto, and that's his book he wrote. It's signed by him. And you know, it's cool for my, you know, that for my idols become, you know, my friends that I can actually talk to and on a you know, whenever I want. So maybe I'll book another interview with him, and maybe I'll talk about some other people that I'll get on the show as well. A couple others I have in mind. So yeah. Anyway, stay tuned. If you like the video, then please like the video as well. If you want to purchase some of that shiny silver, just click the link in the bottom left hand, or it's not a link, send an email to the email address in the bottom left hand corner, info@milesfranklin.com. Let him know Silver Slayer sent you. That is Miles Franklin. Andy Sheckman is the CEO. If you've seen him on my channel, he's a great guy, one of the most reputable dealers in the world, one of the only few authorized dealers that can still work with the U.S. Mint. Nobody else can, as the U.S. Mint banned everyone from buying directly through them. You can only buy from other sites that already have. So as the U.S. Mint coins becomes harder and harder to get, Andy Sheckman still has a direct hand in to work with them, which could be extremely beneficial. And plus, building a relationship with someone like Andy that can get to know you and build a business relationship can take you a very long way. I mean, think about it, right? Andy's going to get to know you if you start buying through them, right? You could talk to him, talk about, you know, whatever you want about your stack, different questions. He could help you out. He gets to know you personally. Someone who can acquire silver when nobody else can fill $50 million orders. That is extremely beneficial compared to just buying from some random site online, right? That connection, that can be so beneficial moving forwards, especially as most of these sites online are begging you, their own customers, to sell back to them at crazy high premiums. Isn't that alarming and telling that these sites are begging their own customers to sell the silver they sell to them back to them? These companies are going to ask you to sell back to them at the highest premiums we've ever seen. That's crazy. That's crazy. I doubt you're going to see Andy Sheckman doing that. So yeah, I highly recommend that. I'm honored to be able to offer you that. And I'm also honored that with this live stream, you'll be able to directly ask questions to him personally. And we'll be doing some giveaways, and everyone likes free silver. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to go check out David Morgan's 2 videos, or at least subscribe, right? At least subscribe to him. Go flood his new video. This new video, how much is needed for a green future? Go watch that and go like it for me. He'd appreciate it, and it's very informational stuff as well. So yeah, anyways, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.